When I started my teaching practice in 1995, I thought that I was a really good teacher. When I asked the students to do a task, they followed. When I asked them to extend it in some way, they did so without any questions. But then I left the school and I ended up on my own. I realised very quickly I couldn't adopt the strategies I'd used on my teaching practice. They just didn't work. So why were they so effective a few months prior? It was because my mentors were brilliant. They'd been at the school a long time and had a reputation of excellence. And the students didn't want to disappoint them. I think they followed my lessons not because of me, but because of them. So I went from feeling like I was really brill to feeling rubbish in the course of a really short space of time. I inherited one really tough maths group in a school where the pass rate was 27% 5 A's to C's. Obviously, this is a long time before the 9-to-1 grading. They didn't have things easily. The students didn't like each other. There were fractious cliques in the group. They hated maths, and as if things couldn't get any worse, they had my lesson at the end of the day. I lay awake many nights wondering what I could do to control them. It was clear that I didn't have control. I tried to make it fun, relevant to their lives, took in treats, but nothing seemed to work. After being observed with this group, which was a really tough thing, I got put on a behavioural management course. The strategies were good and I used a few of them effectively, but they were mostly about if this happens, then you do this system. Which meant I spent the next few lessons focusing on the negative things that the students were doing. This was not only draining, but it wasn't playing to the reason that I went into teaching. I noticed that the teachers who they worked for said lovely things about them, and then began to research ways that I could say positive things about my class from hell. I then asked them, who are your best teachers? And as I listened to them, I would go and see them being taught by these teachers. These teachers got the students to do all of that work. So in my next lesson, I was straight with the students. I was straight because I was frustrated and I was looking for ways to help them achieve. I came across the Losada Line. The Losada Line is very simple. If you want a relationship to survive, then there's a magic number of positive to negative that you have to be. And that relationship is 3 bits of good stuff to 1 not so good bit. If you're in a team, a high-performing team, then the relationship is 6 bits of positivity to 1 not so bit of positivity. But this was the kicker for me, which was if you're working with young people, the magic number of positive to negative that you need to be was 8 to 1. I scanned through my lesson, and using those teaching strategies before, I was more like 1 to 3. I was saying more negatives than positives. And then I started to use it the other way around. I began to spot the students who had been working and who had been improving. Had they always been doing it that way? And I'd missed it because I was trying to control the other students in the class? And then I decided, can I get to 8 to 1? So I called a parent and I said, hi, is this Daniel's mum? Yes, that's not how she sounded, but that's my voice. It's Martin Burder from school. I teach him for maths. Do you have 5 minutes to talk about him? She said that she'd heard about me and responded, what's he done wrong this time? So I told her really clearly, I use the 8 to 1 ratio. When I say 8 to 1, I actually mean 8 to 0. I ensured that there was no but at the end, like the proverbial shit sandwich, but merely a bunch of A, what he was doing well, the work he was doing great, B, the behaviour that he was doing really well, and C, how he was helping others, those character strengths, his values, and told her about that. I went for this passionate speech about him, But then the phone went silent. My negative chatter started. Had I done something wrong? This Losada Line thing was just a stupid idea in the first place. Parents want to know how their children can improve, not if they have helped teach the content to a partner. Those were the thoughts running through my head. She then came back on the phone. She had been in tears and was trying to now hold it together as she told me how her family were going through some tough times and that he had not always listened to her and they were struggling to connect, but how now she was so proud of the person he was growing to be. And she thanked me. She genuinely thanked me for taking the time to call and say something nice. It's really made my day, she said. I encouraged her to pass on my thanks and my praise to Daniel himself because he had been a superstar. Oh, she said, I definitely will. And then something weird happened. The next day, I had Daniel for maths. It was again this end of the week final session. He walked sheepishly in. This time he was even better. After class, he hung behind. And I said, Dan, I had a really great chat about you yesterday. And he thanked me for an even greater lesson. I knew it hadn't been great. But slowly and slowly the news of that positive connection started to spread. And people would come into my lesson now going, how come you ain't phoned my parents? That was one of the most popular questions I got asked over the next few weeks. So I decided to share what I was looking for with my students, with this now class from hell. Here were the expectations. They were dead simple. We decided upon a team agreement. What would that involve? Take risks, hard work, enjoy your lesson, say hello when you walk into the classroom to me, because I'm going to be working with you over the next hour or so. No laughing if someone got things wrong. And actually we said support people and encourage them to be brave. My part of the bargain was to call home if they lived up to those expectations. That to me was the first in many phone calls about the good things. Immediately, behaviour was better, even from the really hard kids. And now answering the, how come you ain't called my mum question, was really straightforward. Have you helped someone today? Did you say hi as you walked through the classroom? Did you improve your work? Are you better today than you were yesterday? And if the answer was yes to all of those things, then I would apologise and say, I'll make a point of doing it before the end of the week. I've used this strategy since, for loads of reasons. One, we often see what we're looking for. So if I was to stop you and say, just think of a colour. Let's imagine the colour is blue. And think blue, 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 blue. And now scan the room. Do you see more red? Do you see more blue? Because we seem to see what we're looking for. The old me used to look for the problems in the students. Now I look for the greatness in the people and the persons that I'm working with. Two, because if a student is kicking off, then I can call his parents back or her parents and say, hi, it's Mr. Burder. Do you remember last time we spoke? Your child has been amazing in the past, but somehow things have gone awry. Are there any issues that I've missed? And more importantly, now I had a positive connection before that, and therefore knew that the student could choose some of their aspects of their behaviour. Did this solve all of my teaching issues? Were the students now all angels? No, that is not the case. But now I had a powerful strategy which meant that I saw the good in my pupils. I had confidence to teach great lessons. I looked forward to calling home, and it felt great when I got off the phone. So my advice to you is, set high expectations where you share the good about learning and their behaviour. say good things behind their back, share what they do really well in a phone call, and with your staff, aim for 6-1, positive to negative, and with your young people, 8-1. Best wishes.